Hello and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Nanette and I'm here today to do an April spending review. I'm using the software YNAB, which is what you see here on the screen. It stands for You Need a Budget, and I'm in the Reflection tab under the spending breakdown. I like to review the spending via the groups rather than the categories. It just makes a little bit more sense to my brain. So we'll dive into this shortly. It was a pretty spendy month. I thought it was probably the highest spend that I had had in a long time. And then I went back to March. March was actually spendier, but as you can see, it's taxes and let's go back over here and retirement stuff that made up the bulk of that 39,000. All of that is for future Nanette. And if we come back into April, we will see that everything here is for current Nanette. And for some context, that is because I am no longer working. It's been 7 weeks since I got laid off, and I am a 62-year-old who was laid off into whatever this is. Retirement doesn't land properly with me for some reason. So what I have decided to do is just indicate that I am trying retirement on for size. So far, so good, but it's entirely too soon to commit to the fact that I am fully retired. I have no plans to generate any additional income for the rest of this year. I've got a sabbatical fund that will support me all the way through my birthday next year in January. At which time I'll probably start claiming Social Security unless I do some numbers and calculate that it's beneficial for me to start earlier than that. And then we'll just see what happens. All of that is probably for a future video, and today's video is a review of the spending breakdown. So let's go ahead and dive in. As far as renovation and maintenance stuff, this was all the HVAC replacement, which I had budgeted $12,575. I managed to get a 3% discount for paying cash, and that came to $12,196.78. So I am a little bit under budget on that and should be able to release those funds back into ready to assign to use them elsewhere. Next up, next largest category group is the inevitable stuff. Sorry, can't speak today. I am very tired, Nanette, today. I have not been getting enough sleep. I am recovering nicely from having overworked for so long, but this week was not a really good one for sleep. So I decided to go ahead and record anyway. I usually don't record when I'm quite this tired, but here we are. Biggest, the inevitable stuff is the category group for all of my sinking funds. So the biggest expense here would be the $1,635 that I paid to the IRS for my 2025 taxes, which I owed just a little bit there. My sweet spot for taxes is I would like to always owe somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000. So we'll see what happens as I go forward. I have no idea what this year is going to look like. I'd like to do a projection on that, but that has not gotten to the top of the to-do list yet. As far as health insurance deductibles, this category is a bit of a misnomer because all health-related expenses I throw in here. So this is out-of-pocket costs as well as out-of-network costs that are not calculated in the deductible. I have a pretty, it's a high deductible plan, but I won't go into the details of that. I don't think there's anything of major interest there. As far as clothing goes, well, my highest expenses for health insurance deductibles was a consult with a surgeon for my foot. I've been having issues with my foot. I am not going the surgery route at this time, but my highest expenses in clothing are related to buying shoes to deal with, first problem was plantar fasciitis, and then the shoes that I bought to combat the plantar fasciitis, created a problem on the top of my foot, so I can't wear those anymore. And I ended up deciding to get the Palooza shoes. I ordered 4 pair and returned 3 of them, so I ended up spending about $150 on those, and other nonsense. But the Palooza shoes are 5-fingered shoes, so your toes not only can spread out, they're actually held in a spread out position. That's been really fantastic for my right foot, which has a really bad bunion on it. Probably nobody cares about my foot problems, but I'm very happy to have a pair of shoes that is actually helping to repair my foot. Not a sponsor by any means, but the Palooza shoes I'm now a fan of. Not a fan of their customer experience because their website is a little dodgy, especially for returns. But as far as the quality of the shoe, very, very happy with that. Next up is propane at $115. I am going through a lot more propane than I expected to. I'm sure that that's in large part because I switched to a tankless water heater that is powered by propane. But I don't have that. I don't have the replacement of propane properly under management. The last 2 times that the propane ran out, I was in the shower. Not the funnest time for the propane to run out. So I have got to talk to the propane company and see if we can get that better under control. I have 2 tanks that I alternate between, and I haven't found a proper way of tracking when I'm about to run out. So anyhow, more to come on that. Please let me know. How interesting is that for you guys to hear about? That's just one of the silly little challenges in my life. And then home maintenance. Oh, I bought a new mop and bucket. Moving right along. Next up is just basically groceries and other fun stuff. Biggest expense here was the retirement party, which, let me tell you, was an absolute blast. This $1,376.34 does not include the original $500 deposit that I put down. In my last video, let's see if I go over here. I'm going to bounce over here to the plan and go into, where do I want to go? I want to collapse everything and then grab just the retirement party. So originally I had budgeted $1,500, which is the target that you see here. In my last video, I had decided to expand the budget to $2,000. Sorry, distracting myself, to $2,000 and then up to $2,500 because I expanded the guest list. But I confused myself in the last video, and so I ended up putting an extra $1,000 on top of the first $1,000. So this category is very much overfunded, and I'll release those funds probably in my next budget video. And so we'll take a look at that when that happens. But the retirement party itself was a real blast. Had a very good time at it. Let me find my way back to where I was. It was at a local farm. Well, it's not completely local, about 30 minutes away from here. And they have a really wonderful high-end farm-to-table experience. And we also had a wagon ride around the farm. Got to experience they have just a few farm animals there, but we got time with the horses and with the emus and, I'm going to say this one wrong, but I think it's Zemu or Zebu, whatever, tiny horses. It was a fabulous day, really gorgeous place to be, and the food was absolutely amazing. So then we have groceries. With my cousin staying with me, she's been buying a good portion of the groceries. So my grocery bill is down a little bit from regular trends, but it still was $472.25. Personal care was $184.79, and I believe this was 1 haircut and 1 massage. Finally, I have the massages scheduled, so I am doing a little bit better on that, which I'm delighted about. Sundries was 3%. Nothing terribly exciting here. Sundries are never going to be an exciting category group or category. Supplements 68.58. What kind of supplements did I get? Element and something mysterious from Whole Foods. Probably, I'm going to guess that was omega-3. Who knows? No way to know. And then gas. Gas, of course, was a bigger expense than it usually is. I actually overspent this category for the first time in, I don't even remember when. And mostly that is because as we were watching the gas prices going up day after day, I kept topping up my tank just to know that the last purchase that I made was lower. I think the last time I bought gas, it was $3.99, and now it is $4.29 in my area, and it's just about time to put more in my tank. This is a relatively low category. Let me go over to the categories and see. I'm sure that this is like less than 1% of my overall spending. Oops. So awkward with this thing sometimes with the scroll bar, especially when I'm tired. Where would we find, I want to go to the categories. Okay, if I go to the categories and I scroll down, where is gas? It's less than 1% of my overall spending. But for some people, it's up around 5, somewhere from 5 to 10%, especially people who drive for a living. And it's just heartbreaking to see the prices going up and up and up. So just want you guys to know that I see you and really feel for everybody who is struggling with that right now. As far as personal, didn't I already do the personal care? I know that I did. Oh, where am I? Let's go to all groups. I was in the my stuff. Yeah, so here's the their stuff. Okay, so their stuff. My son's spending continues on his canteen account. This is more than just his canteen account. This also covers stamps and phone account and all that good stuff. And it's just the spend rate this year is much higher than it has been in former years. I am glad that I haven't adjusted my targets yet very much on this. So probably in fourth quarter, we're going to exceed the amount that I budgeted for this year. So hopefully I'll be able to adjust that soon enough. It's not going to be a huge problem, but both of us are monitoring it closely. As far as Papa Payback goes, this one was way over budget, and that is because he ordered a new phone on the phone account. So it came as a surprise to me, but again, not a huge problem. Just had to do a little adjustment and take that. I think I actually took both of those overspendings out of the retirement, for the retirement party, or else the home maintenance. Both of those funds have way more than they need in them. As far as share the wealth, this trend continues where most of the time I am just treating people to lunch. This is a category that I want to do some reevaluating on. I think the fact that I did, what did I do? There's one $50 sharing of the wealth that I did to help somebody through a little bit of a crisis that they were having. But most of the time I'm just treating people to lunch. And I don't think that I think I'm going to break this into two, maybe even 3 different categories. Treating others when I'm out, making donations to local charities, and mutual aid for friends and family when they need it. But that is not the purpose of today's session, so I'm not going to make any of those changes today. It's just as I go through here, I'm trying to reflect on what changes I may want to make. And I probably will do a review of all of my categories in an upcoming video, so more to come on that. Let's see, that was their stuff. Only a few more categories to go through. As far as the monthly stuff, utilities are a little higher than I would like them to be. I think I may be paying more for water than I really ought to be. I think I have a toilet running that I need to get a repair on, and that'll help keep that a little bit lower. But we are entering the hot season, so the bill is actually going to go up as the days get hotter. My lawn work is always $175, home insurance $135.39, and then the car insurance $118.77. Back to all the groups, and that takes us to business stuff. Also a little bit of a misnomer because I haven't had a business in quite some time, but I never reworked these expenses into anything else. And now might be the time to explore this again, even though I said I'm not really looking for any additional income generation in this year. I do have a little pet project that I'm working on with a friend that should generate about 6% on top of anything that I invest in here. So not really a business venture, more of a pet project, but there's that. And this in April, I put $466.38 in the way of expenses on that one. Cell phone, $52.33. Internet, $51. Insurance on the phone, $8.99. Not sure I should be doing that, but not ready to make a change. iCloud storage. I have maxed out my iCloud storage, so I know that my phone is not getting backed up, and I think it's silly to be paying $2.99 a month towards a service I'm not really even able to take advantage of. So hopefully dealing with this will rise to the top of the to-do list soon, but no way to know. Office supplies $1.92 for my HP Instant Ink subscription, and my oldest son covers his own cell phone, so this expense shows up because money went out, but money also came in, so it shows up as a zero amount. That was business stuff. Now we'll move on to fun stuff. $301.50 eating out. That's under my 350 monthly target, so I'm going to feel good about that. But one of the things I feel best about is I'm finally putting a little bit of effort and money towards fitness. This $60 was a 10-class pack for acro yoga, and I've only been to one class. Ironically, I ended up with vertigo after that class, which is one of my expenses. Getting the Epley maneuver to fix the vertigo was one of the expenses that I had in health deductibles. But I should be back at class possibly starting tomorrow evening. We shall see. That was fun stuff. Subscription stuff is kind of boring. YNAB, $98.10. I get it a little bit less than the current annual subscription because I had, I guess it was YNAB 4 before it became what it is right now. And if you had purchased the desktop version, you have I think it's a lifetime discount of about 10% off of the annual. So that's a nice little treat. For Hulu, $37.43, Netflix, $28.35, and I believe this is going up next month. $26.08 for YouTube Premium, and $21.55 for music streaming, which I'm using Spotify, and sharing this with my son. What are the last little bits? Oh, payroll stuff. What payroll stuff do I have? These categories will be moving to a new group soon. But in the month of April, medical insurance cost me $147.06. This is about 6 weeks of coverage. So it was the remainder of March plus the April, and that's true of dental and vision as well. Um, my monthly premium for medical insurance, I want to say, is $97, and then dental insurance is around 25, and vision insurance is less than 12. All of these are supplemented for 18 months by the company that I formerly worked for. And I am grateful for that. After that, I'll need to get my own, but I think that, let me think on this for a second. So these rates are going to be constant through March of next year. And then Cobra I will be eligible for another 6 months. And all of those things I will be exploring in October to see what kind of plans I will make for insurance for 2026. And so it will move from payroll to something a little bit more personal. Probably it'll move into the monthly stuff. But actually, I'm just going to switch all of my category groups because I don't really like the way that they're broken out right now. And then the least expensive category group was for my cat, and the $50.40 was her food. So that concludes the review of all of the April expenses. Thanks so much for watching. I will try and get a little bit more content out a little bit more frequently, which would mean that you should hear from me by the end of the month. We'll see how that goes. One of the reasons that I haven't been posting very often is because with my cousin living here, it's rare for her to be out of the house and for me to have the house to myself, and I'm just not super comfortable recording when anybody else is in the house. I would like to think that she can't hear me and know what I am in the midst of doing, but I just am entirely too self-conscious to do it, so it just hasn't been happening. She earlier this week left for a trip and won't be back until sometime in June. There's not an end date on it yet. So I'd like to get in the habit of doing more videos more frequently. Like I said, it'd be lovely to get on a cadence that works for me, and then I can make arrangements with her to have the house to myself on specific days at specific hours. But all of that you will learn about as I do, provided I decide that I'm going to share it in the videos. But this concludes this particular video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. I would like to have you join me in the next one. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye now.